The worst part was not the empty bank account. It was not even the fact that my husband of 8 years had been sleeping with someone else. The worst part was watching Derek stand in our living room, his face twisted with anger, calling me selfish because I dared to question why our savings account showed a balance of $0.17. "You are being completely unreasonable right now," Derek said, his voice rising. His hands were on his hips like I was a child he needed to discipline. "You always do this, Simone. You always make everything about you." I stared at my phone at the bank app that had just sent me an alert. Our joint savings account, the one we had been building for 3 years, was empty. $42,000. Gone. That money was supposed to pay for my mother's surgery. She had been waiting for months and we finally had enough saved up. The surgery was scheduled for next month. "Derek." My voice came out steady but my hands were shaking. "Where is the money?" He looked away. That was when I knew. That was the moment everything changed. After 8 years of marriage, you learn to read your husband's face. You know when he is lying before he even opens his mouth. "I needed it," he said. "You needed $42,000? I stood up from the couch. "For what?" "I bought Brittany a car." The name hit me like cold water. Brittany. The new girl at his office. The one he said was just a coworker. The one he said I was being paranoid about when I asked why he was working late so many nights. "You bought another woman a car," I repeated slowly. "With our money. The money for my mother's surgery." "See, this is exactly what I am talking about." Derek threw his hands up. Your mother, your mother, your mother. What about what I need? What about my happiness? I have been killing myself at work, and I deserve to do something nice for someone who actually appreciates me." My mouth fell open. "Someone who appreciates you? I work full-time, I cook, I clean, I manage all our bills, You nag," he cut me off. "All you do is nag me about money and responsibilities and your mother. Brittany makes me feel alive again. She makes me feel like a man. So you emptied our joint account to buy her a car." "It's a Lexus," he said like that made it better. "I used one but still. She was driving this beat-up Honda, and I wanted to do something special for her. She is important to me, Simone. I think I might love her." I sat back down. My legs could not hold me anymore. This was not happening. This could not be happening. "How long?" I asked. "How long what? How long have you been sleeping with her?" Derek sighed like I was exhausting him. 8 months. And before you start, I did not plan this. Just happened. We connected. She understands me in ways you never have. 8 months. While I was working overtime to add extra money to our savings. While I was visiting my mother at the hospital, holding her hand and telling her not to worry because we had the money for her surgery. While I was being faithful and committed and stupid. "I want a divorce," I said. "Oh, here we go with the drama," Derek said. "Can you just calm down for 1 second? I'm not saying we need to divorce. I'm saying I need some space to figure out what I want. Brittany and I are just exploring what we have. You are blowing this completely out of proportion. You stole $42,000 from our joint account to buy your mistress a car, and I am blowing this out of proportion? I did not steal it. It is my money too. I work hard for that money." His face was red now. "And yes, you are being selfish. Your mother is not even that sick. She can wait for the surgery. She has waited this long already. But you cannot stand the idea of me being happy for 5 seconds, can you? You cannot stand that someone else might need me." I looked at this man, this stranger wearing my husband's face, and something inside me went quiet. Not sad. Not angry. Just quiet and cold and clear. "Get out," I said. "What?" "Get out of my house. Your house." He laughed. "Last time I checked, my name is on the mortgage too." "Then I will leave." I stood up and walked to our bedroom. I grabbed a suitcase from the closet and started throwing clothes inside. Derek followed me. "Where are you going?" "Somewhere you are not." "Simone, come on. You are being ridiculous. We can talk about this like adults." I zipped the suitcase and grabbed my laptop bag. "You spent our savings on another woman. You had an affair for 8 months. You called me selfish for wanting money for my sick mother's surgery. There is nothing to talk about." "Fine," he yelled. "Go run to your mother. Go cry to your friends. I am done trying to make you happy. Brittany is waiting for me anyway. At least she knows how to treat a man right." I walked past him, out of the bedroom, through the living room and out the front door. I put my suitcase in my car and sat in the driver's seat. My hands were still shaking. I looked back at the house, at the life I thought I had built, and I let myself cry for exactly 5 minutes. Then I wiped my face, started the car, and drove away. I did not know it yet, but that was the moment my real life began. The moment I stopped being Derek's wife and started being Simone again. The moment I decided that the best revenge was not going to be tears or begging or fighting over a man who was not worth it. The best revenge was going to be building a life so beautiful he would regret every single choice he made. But first I had to survive tonight. I drove to Natalie's apartment without thinking. My best friend since college, Natalie had been telling me for months that something was off about Derek. I had defended him. I had made excuses. I had been so stupid. Natalie opened her door in pajamas, took one look at my face and pulled me inside. "What did he do?" she asked. And then I told her everything. The empty account. The car. Brittany. 8 months of lies. Every word that came out of Derek's mouth in that living room. Natalie's face went through several emotions. Anger. Disgust. Then she hugged me tight and said, "You are going to stay here as long as you need. And then you are going to destroy him." "I do not want to destroy him," I said, sitting on her couch. "I just want him gone." Same thing. Natalie went to her kitchen and came back with tea and cookies. "Okay, let's think clearly. You have proof of the withdrawal?" I showed her my phone. The bank app showed the transaction from 3 days ago. 42,000 transferred out in one lump sum. "He did not even try to hide it," Natalie said. "He just took it. It was a joint account. Legally he can. That does not make it right. Especially since you both were saving that for your mother." Natalie scrolled through her phone. "My cousin is a lawyer. A really good one. He handles divorces. I am texting him right now. Natalie, I cannot afford a lawyer right now. Derek just emptied our savings. You cannot afford not to have a lawyer. Trust me." She sent the text. "Julian will help you. He is good people. And he hates cheaters." I drank the tea. It was too hot, but I needed something to focus on besides the screaming in my head. "I cannot believe this is happening. How are you feeling?" "Honestly?" I thought about it. Numb. Angry. Embarrassed. Why embarrassed? Because I did not see it. 8 months, Natalie. 8 months he was with her and I had no idea. That is not your fault. You trusted him. You were supposed to trust him. He is the one who should be embarrassed. Natalie grabbed her laptop. "Okay. Here is what we are going to do. First, we document everything. Screenshots of the bank account. Any emails or texts from Derek. Anything that proves he took that money. Second, you call the bank tomorrow and freeze that joint account so he cannot do it again. Third, you open your own account that he cannot touch. Fourth, you let Julian handle the legal stuff. And fifth, you let me handle being angry for both of us because you are too nice." I almost smiled. "I'm not too nice. I am furious." "Good. Use that." Natalie handed me her laptop. "Start making a folder. Screenshots, documents, everything. We build your case tonight." I logged into my email. There were already 3 messages from Derek. The first one said, "Where are you?" The second said, "You are overreacting." The third said, "We need to talk about this like adults." I took screenshots of all 3 and saved them. Then I went through our shared calendar. All those late nights at work. I clicked on them and saw the pattern. Every Thursday and Saturday for the past 8 months. Those were his nights with Brittany. "He did not even change the calendar," I said, "because he did not think you would check. He thought you trusted him completely." Natalie looked over my shoulder. "What a piece of garbage." I kept digging. Our credit card statements. Dinners at expensive restaurants I never went to. Hotel charges. A necklace from Tiffany that I never received. Flowers from a shop I never got flowers from. 8 months of evidence, right there in black and white. "He was not even careful," I said. "They never are. They think they are so smart but they always mess up." Natalie printed out the credit card statements. "This is good. This shows a pattern. Julian can use this." My phone rang. Derek again. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. And again. On the 4th call I answered. "What? Where are you?" Derek sounded annoyed, not worried. "You need to come home so we can discuss this." "Discuss what?" "How you stole from me. How you cheated on me. How you called me selfish for being upset that you bought your mistress a car with money meant for my mother's surgery. I did not steal from you. Stop being dramatic. I want a divorce, Derek. That has not changed. You do not mean that. You're just upset right now. Come home and we can talk." "No. Simone, I am not playing games. Come home." "I'm not playing games either. I will come get the rest of my things this week when you are at work. My lawyer will contact you about the divorce. Your lawyer? He laughed. You do not have a lawyer. You cannot afford a lawyer. Watch me. I hung up. My hands were still shaking, but this time it was adrenaline, not fear. Natalie grinned. That was perfect. I have never talked to him like that before. You should have. He is a bully. Bullies back down when you stand up to them. We worked until 2 in the morning building my case. Every receipt, every bank statement, every text message where Derek said he was working late, every piece of evidence that showed exactly what kind of man I had married. When we finally stopped, I felt exhausted but clear-headed. Thank you, I said to Natalie. You do not need to thank me. You're my best friend. I love you. And I am going to help you get through this. She squeezed my hand. You're going to be okay. Better than okay. You are going to be amazing. I wanted to believe her. But right then, sitting on her couch at 2 in the morning with my marriage in pieces around me, I just wanted to survive. Can I ask you something? I said. Anything. Do you think I am selfish? For being upset about the money? Natalie looked at me like I had grown a second head. Are you serious right now? No. You are not selfish. You are a woman whose husband stole from her and cheated on her and tried to make her feel crazy for being upset about it. That is called manipulation. That is what horrible people do when they get caught. He said my mother was not that sick. Your mother has a tumor. She needs surgery. He knows that. Natalie's voice got hard. He just does not care. And that tells you everything you need to know about who Derek really is. I nodded. She was right. This was not about me being selfish or unreasonable. This was about Derek showing me exactly who he was after 8 years of pretending. And I was finally ready to believe him. Julian Banks had kind eyes and a firm handshake. I met him at his office on Monday morning, and he listened to my entire story without interrupting once. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair and said, I am going to be honest with you. This is a good case. Good? For you. Bad for him. Julian pulled out a legal pad. Your husband withdrew marital funds without your consent for a non-marital purpose. That is a big problem for him. In this state, any major financial decision requires both spouses to agree, especially from a joint account. And spending marital money on an affair partner? Judges hate that. I felt something loosen in my chest. So I can get it back? We can definitely make him pay back your portion and possibly more as damages. It depends on the judge, but you have proof of the affair, proof of the withdrawal, and proof that the money was meant for a specific purpose related to your family. He wrote notes as he talked. Tell me about your mother's situation. She has a benign tumor that needs to be removed. It is not cancer, but it is growing and causing problems. The surgery costs about $40,000. We had been saving for 3 years. And Derek knew this? Yes. We talked about it all the time. I showed him the bills. We made a plan together. Julian wrote that down. Good. That shows intent and planning. The money was not just general savings. It had a specific purpose that he knew about and agreed to. He looked up at me. How are you doing? Emotionally? The question surprised me. I am angry. And sad. But mostly I just want to move forward. That is healthy. Some people want to fight their ex forever. That is expensive and exhausting. You just want to be done. Yes. Then here is what we do. We file for divorce. We request that Derek pay back the money he took, plus damages. We split all other assets fairly. We make it quick and clean. If he fights, we have all this evidence. He tapped the folder I had brought. And trust me, he does not want this evidence shown in court. His job could be affected. His reputation could be affected. We use that as leverage. I do not want to be mean, I said. I just want what is fair. Wanting what is fair is not mean. It is smart. Julian smiled. You seem like a nice person, Simone. But nice people still deserve to protect themselves. We spent the next hour going over details. I signed papers. I agreed to his fee, which was reasonable. And when I left his office, I felt like I had an army behind me instead of facing this alone. I went straight to the bank after that. I froze the joint account and opened my own checking and savings account. I transferred my next paycheck there. Derek could not touch it. Then I went to work. I had taken a personal day, but I needed to talk to my boss. Mr. Patterson was a good man who had worked his way up from entry level. He believed in his employees. When I explained my situation, keeping it brief and professional, he nodded slowly. Take the time you need, he said. And Simone? There is a senior accountant position opening next month. I was going to post it externally, but I think you should apply. I blinked. Really? You have been here 5 years. You are good at your job. You are reliable. And you deserve to move up. He leaned forward. I cannot imagine what you are going through. But I have seen people go through divorces before. The ones who survive are the ones who focus on building their future instead of dwelling on the past. Think about it. I will. Thank you. That evening, Derek showed up at Natalie's apartment. Natalie answered the door and blocked him from coming inside. I need to talk to my wife, he said. She does not want to talk to you. This is between me and Simone. Move. I came to the door. What do you want? Derek looked terrible. Tired. Stressed. Good. You froze our account, he said. Yes. You cannot do that. I already did. And I opened my own account. You cannot touch my money anymore. His jaw tightened. You are being vindictive. I am protecting myself. Simone, come on. Can we please just talk about this? I made a mistake. I know that now. But we can fix this. You spent $42,000 on another woman. You called me selfish. You told me my mother was not that sick. There is nothing to fix. I was angry. I said things I did not mean. No, you said exactly what you meant. You just did not expect consequences. Brittany's name flashed on his phone screen. He declined the call. Is that her? I asked. That is not important. It is, actually, because you chose her over me, over our marriage, over my mother's health. So now you have her. Congratulations. I do not want her. Derek's voice rose. I want you. I want our life back. That life is gone. You ended it the day you emptied our savings. Your lawyer called me, he said, changing tactics. This is going too far. We do not need lawyers. We can settle this ourselves. No, we cannot. I cannot afford to pay you back right now. The car payment is expensive and... The car you bought Brittany. He had the sense to look embarrassed. Yes. That sounds like your problem. Simone, please. Be reasonable. I will pay you back eventually, but I need time. You should have thought about that before you stole from me. I did not steal from you. Yes, you did. And my lawyer is going to prove it. I stepped back. Do not come here again. If you want to talk to me, go through Julian. I closed the door. My heart was pounding, but I felt strong. Stronger than I had felt in years. Natalie high-fived me. You are a warrior. I do not feel like a warrior. I feel like I am going to throw up. Same thing. She grinned. But seriously, that was amazing. You did not back down. You did not let him guilt you. You just held your ground. I sat on the couch. He looked awful. Good. He should. Part of me felt bad for him. No. Natalie sat next to me. Do not do that. Do not feel bad for someone who showed you zero compassion. He did not feel bad when he took your money. He did not feel bad when he was sleeping with Brittany. He did not feel bad when he called you selfish. He feels bad now because he is facing consequences. That is not the same thing. She was right. I knew she was right. But 8 years of marriage did not just disappear. There was still a part of me that remembered the good times. The man I thought I married. The life I thought we had. But that man was gone. Maybe he never existed at all. Maybe I just saw what I wanted to see. I am going to apply for that promotion, I said suddenly. Natalie smiled. Yeah. Mr. Patterson was right. I need to focus on building my future. I have been pouring all my energy into a marriage that was already dead. Now I am going to pour it into me. That is the spirit. That night I updated my resume. I wrote a cover letter for the senior accountant position. I made a list of my accomplishments and skills. And when I finally went to sleep on Natalie's couch, I dreamed about a future that had nothing to do with Derek. It was a good dream. The divorce papers were served to Derek at work on Wednesday. Julian called me to let me know. He was not happy, Julian said. But he signed the acknowledgement of receipt. What happens now? Now we wait for his response. He has 30 days to reply. In the meantime, I filed a motion for temporary orders, including an order for him to pay back the money he took from the joint account. How long will that take? A few weeks to get a court date. But once we have it, the judge will review the evidence and make a ruling. Based on what you have shown me, I feel confident. I felt a little lighter after that call. Things were moving forward. I was not stuck anymore. At work, I threw myself into projects. I volunteered for extra assignments. I stayed late. I wanted Mr. Patterson to see that I was serious about the promotion. On Friday, Natalie convinced me to go to the gym with her. You need to do something besides work and stress, she said. Exercise helps. I had not been to a gym in years. Derek always said it was a waste of money. But Natalie had a guest pass, so I went. Felt good. My body was tired, but my mind was clearer. We did weights and cardio, and by the end I was sweating and exhausted and somehow better. We should do this every week, Natalie said as we walked to the car. Okay. Really? Really? You were right. I need this. That weekend, I went back to the house to get more of my things. Derek was supposed to be at work, but his car was in the driveway. I almost left. But these were my things. My clothes. My books. My life. I was not going to let him scare me away from my own belongings. I unlocked the door and walked in. Derek was on the couch with his laptop. He looked up when I entered. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "Getting my things." "You could have called. This is still my house. I do not need to call." I walked to the bedroom and started packing. Clothes, jewelry, pictures of my family. I took everything that mattered to me. Derek appeared in the doorway. "Can we talk?" "No. Simone, this is getting out of hand. The lawyers, the court. This is costing both of us money. You should have thought of that before you betrayed me." I said I was sorry. I turned to face him. "No, you did not. You said you made a mistake. You said you wanted me back. You said I was being vindictive. But you never once said you were sorry. You never once took real responsibility. You just want me to forgive you and move on like nothing happened. Because I want to fix this. You cannot fix this. You broke it beyond repair. So that is it? 8 years of marriage and you are just done? You were done 8 months ago when you started sleeping with Brittany. I'm just catching up." He ran his hand through his hair. "She is driving me crazy, you know. Brittany. She is always asking for things. Money, attention, time. The car payment is killing me. And now she wants me to help with her rent." I stared at him. "Are you seriously complaining to me about your mistress?" "I'm just saying maybe I made a mistake. Maybe we can work this out. Let me get this straight. You want me back because Brittany is expensive and demanding? That is not what I meant. That is exactly what you meant." I zipped my suitcase. "You are not sorry you hurt me. You are sorry your affair partner turned out to be a real person with real expectations. You thought you could have both of us. The stable wife at home and the exciting girlfriend on the side. But now reality is hitting and you want your safety net back. That is not fair. Nothing about this is fair." I grabbed my bags. "I am done here." "Simone, wait. No. You made your choice. Live with it." I walked out and loaded my car. He followed me outside. "You are going to regret this," he said. "You are not going to do better than me. You are 32 years old with no kids. Who is going to want you?" His words stung, but I refused to let him see it. "I would rather be alone than with someone who treats me like you did," I said. "And for the record, I'm going to do much better than you. Watch me." I drove away without looking back. When I got back to Natalie's apartment, I cried for an hour. Not because I missed Derek, but because of what he said. The cruelty in his voice. The way he tried to make me feel worthless. Natalie held me and let me cry it out. Then she said, "He is wrong, you know." "About what?" "All of it. You are amazing. You are smart and beautiful and kind. Any person would be lucky to have you. And the fact that Derek cannot see that just proves how stupid he is. I do not want to date anyone. Not for a long time." "Good. You do not need to. You need to focus on you. Date yourself for a while. Remember who Simone is outside of being Derek's wife." I wiped my eyes. "I do not even know who that is anymore." "Then let's find out." We made a list that night. Things I used to love before Derek. Things I wanted to try. Places I wanted to go. Dreams I had put aside. The list was longer than I expected. Somewhere along the way I had stopped being me and started being us. And when the us fell apart, I realized I had nothing left. But I was going to change that. One step at a time, I was going to rebuild myself into someone I actually liked. Someone who did not need a man to be complete. Someone who was enough all on her own. It would not be easy. But nothing worth doing ever was. 3 weeks later, I was sitting in Mr. Patterson's office being offered the senior accountant position. "You have shown initiative and dedication," he said. "The job is yours if you want it. 20% raise, better benefits, and your own office." I wanted to cry with relief. "Yes. Thank you. Yes. You start Monday. Congratulations, Simone." I called Natalie immediately. Then I called my mother and told her about the promotion and the raise. She was so proud. We cried together on the phone. "I am going to get you that surgery," I promised her. "I am working on it." "I know you will, baby. I'm not worried. But I was worried. Even with the raise and the settlement I was hoping to get from Derek, it would still take time to save up again. Time my mother might not have. I pushed the worry aside and focused on the good news. I had a promotion. I had a path forward. I was moving in the right direction. That evening Derek called me. I almost did not answer, but curiosity got the better of me. What? I said. I need to talk to you. His voice was strained. Can we meet? No. Say what you need to say. Everyone at work knows about the affair. Someone saw Brittany driving the car and asked questions, and now it is all over the office. My boss called me in for a meeting. They are concerned about my judgment. That sounds like a you problem. Simone, I am in trouble here. Real trouble. And Brittany is not making it easier. She keeps showing up at my office. She wants to have lunch together every day. She wants everyone to know we are together. It is ruining my reputation. Again. Your problem. I need your help. I laughed. Actually laughed. You need my help? If you could just talk to people. Tell them it was mutual. Tell them we grew apart. Why would I do that? Because we were married for 8 years. Because you do not want to see me lose my job. You are right. We were married for 8 years. And in those 8 years I supported you. I believed in you. I defended you. And you betrayed me in the worst possible way. So no, Derek. I'm not going to help you. You are going to deal with the consequences of your choices all by yourself. You are being vindictive. I'm being honest. There is a difference. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but this time it was from satisfaction, not fear. He was finally seeing what his actions cost him. And it felt like justice. A week later, Julian called with good news. Our court date was set for the following month, and he had received Derek's financial disclosure. He is in debt, Julian said. Credit cards maxed out. Car payment on the Lexus is $1,500 a month. He took out a personal loan last month. He is drowning. Good, I said, and I meant it. The judge is going to see this and wonder why he spent money he did not have on an affair partner while his wife's mother needed surgery. This is going to go well for you. I felt hope for the first time in weeks. At work I was thriving. My new office was small but mine. I had a window. I had a door. I had autonomy. My team respected me and I was good at my job. Better than good. I was excellent. Mr. Patterson stopped by one afternoon. You look happy, he said. I am. This job, this opportunity, it is exactly what I needed. Divorce looks good on you, he said with a kind smile. Not the divorce itself, but the freedom. You're different now. Stronger. He was right. I was different. The woman who let Derek call her selfish was gone. In her place was someone who knew her worth. Someone who refused to be treated badly. Someone who was building a life she actually wanted. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Hi, this is Brittany. Can we talk? I stared at the message. The woman Derek had cheated with wanted to talk to me. The audacity was almost impressive. I deleted the text without responding. I owed her nothing. Not my time. Not my energy. Not my forgiveness. 2 days later, she texted again. Please. I really need to talk to you about Derek. Delete. She called. I blocked the number. Whatever was happening between Derek and Brittany was not my problem. They made their choices. They could deal with the results. That weekend, I went apartment hunting. I could not stay with Natalie forever, as much as she insisted I was welcome. I needed my own space. My own place to rebuild. I found a beautiful one-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor of a renovated building. Hardwood floors. Big windows. A kitchen with actual counter space. It was more expensive than I wanted to pay, but with my new salary I could afford it. I signed the lease that day. This is your fresh start, Natalie said as we celebrated with takeout that night. Your own place. Your own life. No Derek allowed. No Derek allowed, I agreed. I moved in 2 weeks later. Natalie helped me unpack. We painted one wall teal because I always wanted a teal wall and Derek said it was too bold. We hung art I liked. We arranged furniture the way I wanted. For the first time in years I felt like I was home. That night, alone in my new apartment, I made tea and sat by the window. I looked out at the city lights and realized something important. I was happy. Actually, genuinely happy. Not the fake happy I had been pretending for years. Not the hopeful happy that maybe things would get better. But real, solid, present happy. Derek had done his worst. He had betrayed me, stolen from me, and tried to break me. But I was still here. And I was doing more than surviving. I was winning. Court day arrived on a Tuesday morning in April. I wore a navy suit and met Julian at the courthouse. Remember, he said, let me do the talking. Just answer questions honestly when asked. The evidence speaks for itself. Derek was already there with his lawyer, a tired-looking man in a wrinkled suit. Derek looked nervous. You should be. The judge was a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes and no patience for nonsense. She reviewed our case, looked at the evidence, and asked Derek's lawyer to explain why his client had withdrawn $42,000 from a joint marital account. The lawyer tried. He said it was Derek's money too, that he had the legal right to access joint funds, that this was simply a marital dispute. The judge looked unimpressed. Did your client know the purpose of those savings? He claims he did not. I have 3 years of email correspondence here that says otherwise, Julian interjected, passing copies to the judge. Mr. Harper was aware his wife was saving for her mother's surgery. He participated in planning. He even contributed to the account himself. Then he withdrew the entire balance to purchase a vehicle for a woman he was having an extramarital affair with. The judge read through the emails. Her expression grew colder. Mr. Harper, she said, did you purchase a car for someone other than your wife with marital funds? Derek stood. Yes, Your Honor, but... Yes or no will suffice. Yes. Were you aware the money was being saved for your mother-in-law's medical procedure? Derek hesitated. His lawyer looked pained. Mr. Harper? Yes, Your Honor. The judge made notes. This court finds that Mr. Harper misused marital funds for non-marital purposes without his spouse's consent. Mr. Harper is hereby ordered to repay Mrs. Harper $42,000, plus $5,000 in damages within 90 days. Failure to comply will result in wage garnishment. I felt like I could breathe for the first time in months. The judge continued. As for the division of remaining marital assets, we will schedule another hearing. But let me be clear, Mr. Harper. This court does not look kindly on financial deception. Any further assets found to have been hidden or misused will result in additional penalties. When we left the courtroom, Julian was grinning. That was perfect. She destroyed him. $47,000, I said, still processing. Plus whatever we get from the asset division. Your half of the house equity, retirement accounts, everything. You are going to be okay, Simone? Derek tried to approach me in the hallway. Julian stepped between us. Any communication goes through me, Julian said firmly. I just want to talk to her, Derek said. Then you can talk to her lawyer. That is me. We left him standing there. As we walked to the parking lot, I felt lighter than I had in months. That evening, I video called my mother and told her the news. 47,000, she repeated. Baby, that is wonderful. We can schedule your surgery now. As soon as I get the money from Derek, we can do it. She started crying. Happy tears this time. I was so scared. I did not want to tell you how scared I was. I know, Mama. But it is going to be okay. You are going to be okay. We talked for an hour about the surgery, about recovery, about everything we would do once she was healed. I promised to be there every step of the way. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment and let myself feel proud. I had fought for this. I had stood up for myself and my mother, and I had won. At work the next day, Mr. Patterson called me into his office. I wanted to discuss something with you, he said. The company is considering expanding our financial education services. We want to help employees better understand their finances, plan for retirement, that kind of thing. I think you would be perfect to lead the initiative. Really? You have personal experience with financial challenges now. You understand how important it is to protect yourself. And you are good at explaining complicated things in simple terms. What do you think? I think that sounds amazing. Good. Put together a proposal. Think about what topics would be most helpful. We will present it to the board next month. I left his office buzzing with excitement. This was more than just a job now. It was a purpose. I could help other people avoid what happened to me. I could teach them to protect themselves, their money, their futures. That weekend, I started working on the proposal. I researched financial literacy programs. I made lists of topics. Joint accounts and how to protect them. Signs of financial abuse. Building credit independently. Planning for emergencies. Natalie came over with dinner and found me surrounded by papers and laptop screens. Look at you, she said. Changing the world. I am just trying to help people. That is changing the world. One person at a time. She handed me Chinese food. Now eat. You cannot change the world on an empty stomach. We ate and talked about everything except Derek. About travel plans. About Natalie's dating life. About the plants I was trying not to kill in my apartment. It felt normal. Good normal. like I was finally settling into this new life. My phone buzzed. A text from Derek's lawyer. Mr. Harper requests a payment plan for the court-ordered settlement. I showed Julian the next day. What do you want to do? He asked. I want the money now. My mother's surgery cannot wait. Then we say no. The judge gave him 90 days. That is generous. He needs to figure it out. Julian sent the response. Derek's lawyer tried to negotiate. Julian shut it down every time. 2 weeks later, Derek sold the Lexus he had bought for Brittany. The money went straight into my account. It was not enough for the full settlement, but it was a start. I used it to schedule my mother's surgery. The relief I felt was enormous. She was going to be okay. We were going to be okay. Brittany texted me again. You are ruining his life. I blocked her. Again. Whatever was happening between them was not my concern. Derek made his choices. Brittany made hers. They could deal with each other now. I had my own life to build. That month I joined a book club. I had not read for pleasure in years. Derek always said it was a waste of time. But now I had time and I was going to use it however I wanted. The book club met at a local coffee shop. 6 women, ranging from their 20s to their 60s, all readers. We talked about books and life and everything in between. It was nice, easy, fun. I was making friends, building a community, creating a life that was mine. At the end of the month, my mother had her surgery. It went perfectly. I was there when she woke up, holding her hand and telling her she did great. Thank you, she whispered. You do not need to thank me, Mama. Not for the surgery. For being strong. For fighting. For not letting him break you. He tried, I admitted. But I am still here. You are more than still here. You are thriving. And I am so proud of you. I stayed with her through recovery. Took time off work. Made sure she was comfortable and healing properly. When I got back to my apartment, Derek had sent an email. Can we please talk? I miss you. I made a mistake. Brittany and I are done. I want to fix this. I did not respond. There was nothing to say. He missed having someone take care of him. He missed his safety net. He did not miss me. He never really knew me. I deleted the email and moved on with my day. Because that was the thing about moving forward. You had to actually move. No looking back. No second guessing. Just one foot in front of the other until you realized you had walked miles away from who you used to be. And I liked who I was becoming. The final hearing for asset division happened in July. The judge reviewed everything. The house, the cars, retirement accounts, investments, and debt. Derek's lawyer tried to argue that Derek deserved more because he earned a higher salary. Julian countered with evidence that I had contributed equally in other ways. Managing the household. Supporting Derek's career. Sacrificing my own advancement opportunities. The judge split everything fairly. I got half the equity in the house. Half the retirement accounts. Half of everything we had built together. Derek got half the debt. Including the debt from the affair. The judge made it clear that his choices were his responsibility. This marriage is hereby dissolved, the judge said. Good luck to both of you. Walking out of that courtroom, I was finally free. Legally, emotionally, financially free. Julian shook my hand. You did it. You are officially divorced. Thank you. For everything. It was my pleasure. Go live your life, Simone. You deserve it. I went straight to Natalie's work and told her the news. She squealed and hugged me tight. You are divorced. You are free. We are celebrating. We went to dinner at the nice restaurant I always wanted to try but Derek said was too expensive. We ordered expensive wine and the best steaks on the menu. We laughed and talked and toasted to new beginnings. To Simone, Natalie said, raising her glass. The strongest woman I know. To surviving, I said. Not just surviving. Thriving. She was right. I was thriving. My mother was recovering well from surgery. I had my own apartment. I had a job I loved. I had friends and hobbies and a future that was mine to design. Derek had tried to destroy me and instead he had freed me. A week after the divorce was finalized, Derek sent one last email. I hope you are happy now. You got everything you wanted. The money, the house equity, everything. I am broke and alone and it is all your fault. I read it once then deleted it. I did not respond. There was no point. He was right about one thing. I was happy. Genuinely, truly happy. But it had nothing to do with taking things from him. It had everything to do with taking my life back. At work, my financial literacy proposal was approved. I was going to lead monthly workshops for employees. Topics like budgeting, protecting yourself financially in relationships, building emergency funds, and planning for retirement. The first workshop had 30 people signed up. I was nervous, but once I started talking, the words flowed. I shared my story. Not all the details, but enough. Enough for people to understand why this mattered. After the workshop, 3 women came up to thank me. One of them was crying. "I think my husband is doing this to me," she said quietly. "Taking money and hiding it. I did not know I could do something about it." I gave her Julian's card. "Call him. Get help. You deserve to be protected." Helping her felt like healing something inside myself. Like my pain had purpose now. That fall I started a blog. Financial Freedom for Women. I wrote about my experience. About red flags in relationships. About protecting yourself. About rebuilding after betrayal. The blog grew slowly at first, then faster. Women reached out to thank me. To share their own stories. To ask for advice. I was making a difference. A real, tangible difference in people's lives. And that felt better than any revenge ever could. In October, I got a message on the blog from someone I did not expect. "Brittany, I'm sorry for everything. Derek lied to me. He said you were separated. He said you did not care about him. I know that is not an excuse. But I wanted you to know that I did not know the whole truth. He used both of us." I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond. To tell her that I forgave her. To offer some kind of peace. But I did not. Because forgiving her was not the same as welcoming her into my life. She made her choices too. She could have asked questions. She could have insisted on meeting me. She chose to believe Derek's lies because they were convenient. I deleted the message and moved on. Some people do not deserve space in your story, even for closure. That same month, Derek lost his job. I heard through mutual friends. The affair and the reputation damage had finally caught up with him. His company let him go. I did not feel sorry for him. I did not feel anything at all. He was just someone I used to know. Someone who taught me what I would not accept anymore. The house sold in November. We split the equity. I used my portion to buy a small condo. 2 bedrooms. A real kitchen. A balcony. Was mine. Completely and totally mine. Moving day was joyful. Natalie helped me carry boxes. My mother visited and loved every room. We painted and arranged furniture and made it home. That night, I sat on my new couch in my new living room and felt overwhelming gratitude. For the pain that pushed me forward. For the strength I found when I had no choice. For the life I was building piece by piece. Derek had tried to take everything from me. Instead, he had given me the greatest gift. He showed me I did not need him. I did not need anyone. I was enough all by myself. And that knowledge was worth more than anything he could have given me. A year after the divorce, I was a completely different person. Not because Derek was gone, but because I had found myself again. The financial literacy workshops at work had grown into a full program. I was teaching classes twice a month. People came from different departments. Some were facing their own divorces. Others just wanted to be smarter with money. I loved it. Every minute of it. My blog had over 10,000 followers. I was writing regularly about financial independence, recovering from betrayal, and building a life you love. Women sent me messages every day thanking me for my honesty and advice. One message stood out. "Your story saved my marriage. My husband and I were headed down the same path as you and Derek. But your blog made us realize what we were doing wrong. We went to counseling. We fixed things before it was too late. Thank you." That message made me cry. Happy tears. The kind that come from knowing your pain helped someone else. My mother's health was stable. She was back to her normal activities. Strong and healthy and grateful to be alive. We talked every day and saw each other twice a week. "I am so proud of you," she said at dinner one night. "Look at everything you have built. All by yourself." Not by myself. I had you. And Natalie. And Julian. But you did the work. You chose to get back up. You chose to keep going. That was all you, baby. She was right. I had done the work. And I was proud of myself too. At work, Mr. Patterson called me into his office in December. I thought he wanted to discuss the next quarter's workshop schedule. Instead, he handed me a certificate. "What is this?" "Employee of the Year. The board voted unanimously. Your financial program has helped hundreds of employees. You are making a real difference here." I looked at the certificate. My name in elegant print. Recognition for work that mattered. "Thank you," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "You deserve it. And between you and me, the company is considering making your role permanent. Not just workshops, but a full financial wellness program. Director level. We will talk more after the holidays. Director level. A title. More responsibility. More impact." I walked out of his office feeling like I was floating. That evening, I celebrated with Natalie at our favorite restaurant. The same one we went to when the divorce was finalized. Look at you, Natalie said, raising her glass. Director, author, independent woman. You are killing it. I am just doing my best. Your best is pretty incredible. We talked about everything. Her work, her dating life, my plans for the blog, the vacation we wanted to take together. It was easy and comfortable and exactly what I needed. When I got home that night, I found an email from Derek. I had not heard from him in 6 months. Part of me wanted to delete it without reading. But curiosity won. I saw your blog. Congratulations on your success. I know you probably do not want to hear from me, but I wanted to say I am sorry. Really sorry. Not because I got caught or because I want you back, but because I hurt you and you did not deserve that. You deserved better. Better than I gave you. I hope you are happy. You deserve to be happy. Take care. Derek. I read it twice. Then I saved it in a folder and moved on with my night. It did not change anything. He was still the man who betrayed me. But at least he finally acknowledged it. Maybe that was his own healing. His own growth. I hope so. Not for me, but for whoever came into his life next. They would need him to be better than he was with me. But that was not my problem anymore. Christmas came and went. I spent it with my mother and Natalie. We cooked together and exchanged gifts and laughed until our stomachs hurt. I bought myself a gift too. A beautiful necklace I had been admiring for months. Something I wanted just because I wanted it. Not for an occasion. Not for anyone else. Just for me. I wore it on New Year's Eve. Natalie threw a party and I went. I talked and danced and had fun. No pressure. No expectations. Just enjoyment. At midnight, when everyone was kissing and celebrating, I stood on the balcony looking at the city lights. This time last year I had been devastated. Lost. Broken. Now I was whole. Not because someone put me back together, but because I learned to like my own company. I learned that being alone was not the same as being lonely. I was complete all by myself. In January, the company officially offered me the director position. Financial Wellness Director. My own department. A team to build. A bigger salary. A corner office with 2 windows. I accepted immediately. My first act as director was to hire an assistant. A young woman fresh out of college who reminded me of myself at that age. Eager and nervous and ready to learn. I am going to teach you everything I know, I told her on her first day. And the first lesson is this: protect yourself. Always. In relationships, in finances, in life. No one is going to look out for you better than you look out for yourself. She nodded seriously. I will remember that. My blog continued to grow. I was approached by a publisher about turning it into a book. A real book that people could hold in their hands. It would be part memoir, part financial advice, the editor explained. Your story is powerful. Women need to hear it. I signed the contract that day. Writing the book was hard. It meant reliving the worst time of my life. But it also meant owning it. Taking that pain and turning it into something helpful. Something that could change lives. I worked on it every evening and weekend. Natalie read chapters and gave feedback. My mother cried when she read the section about her surgery. You made me sound like a hero, she said. You are a hero. You fought for your life. And you raised a daughter who learned to fight for hers. The book took 6 months to write. When I finally typed the last word, I felt exhausted and proud and free. I had written my story. All of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the triumphant. And now it was going to help other women find their own strength. That felt like the best revenge of all. Derek tried to break me, and instead I became someone who helps broken people heal. The book launched in September, exactly 2 years after Derek emptied our savings account. Financial Freedom After Betrayal, A Woman's Guide to Rebuilding Her Life, hit the shelves and sold out in 3 days. The publisher had to order a second printing immediately. I did interviews, podcasts, local news segments. I talked about financial abuse, about red flags, about protecting yourself, about healing. Women reached out constantly. Some wanted advice. Others just wanted to say thank you for telling the truth. One message said, I left my husband last week after reading your book. He was doing exactly what Derek did to you. I caught it early because of you. Thank you for saving me years of pain. Messages like that made every hard moment worth it. My mother came to my first book signing. She sat in the front row beaming with pride. When I thanked her in my speech, she cried happy tears. My daughter, the author, she kept saying to anyone who would listen. The book got picked up by book clubs across the country. I started getting invited to speak at women's conferences and corporate events. My message resonated with people. At work, my financial wellness program was thriving. We had expanded to include one-on-one consultations. I had a team of 3 now, all dedicated to helping employees protect and build their financial futures. Mr. Patterson called me into his office one afternoon. I thought it was just a check-in. Instead, he told me the company wanted to franchise the program, offer it to other corporations. You would be in charge, he said, building and training teams across the country, spreading your message wider. What do you think? I think that sounds incredible. Good. Because you have built something special here. Something that needs to reach more people. I left his office feeling dizzy with excitement. This was bigger than I ever imagined. My pain was becoming purpose on a national scale. That October, I spoke at a conference in Chicago. 500 women in attendance. I told my story. I gave practical advice. I answered questions. During the Q&A, a woman stood up and said, "What would you say to Derek if you saw him today?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. I would say thank you, I finally answered. Thank you for showing me who you really were. Thank you for forcing me to find my own strength. Thank you for giving me a story that helps other women. You tried to break me and instead you built me into someone I actually like. So thank you. The room erupted in applause. After the conference, I treated myself to a nice dinner. Alone. By choice. I sat in a beautiful restaurant with a good book and a glass of wine and enjoyed my own company. That was when Derek walked in. I saw him before he saw me. He looked older. Tired. He was with a woman I did not recognize. Not Brittany. Someone new. For a moment I thought about leaving. But then I realized something. I was not afraid of him. I was not angry at him. I was not anything at him. He was just someone I used to know. He spotted me and froze. His date noticed and asked him something. He shook his head and they sat down on the other side of the restaurant. I went back to my book and my wine. I did not need to talk to him. I did not need closure or apologies or explanations. I already had everything I needed. When I finished my meal and got up to leave, Derek was waiting near the door. "Simone," he said quietly, "can we talk for just a minute?" His date was in the restroom. I had a minute. "Okay," I said. "I read your book." "Okay." "I deserved everything you said. Everything that happened. I was selfish and cruel and stupid." He looked at his shoes. "I lost everything. My job. My reputation. Brittany. And you. Especially you." "Yes, you did. Are you happy?" "You look happy." "I am. Very happy." "Good. You deserve that." He paused. "For what it is worth, I am proud of you. Of what you built. You took the worst thing that ever happened to you and turned it into something amazing." "Thank you." "Are you seeing anyone?" "That is none of your business." "Right. Sorry." He looked back at his date who was coming out of the restroom. "I should go. Take care, Simone." "You too, Derek." I walked out of the restaurant feeling nothing but peace. That chapter was closed. That book was finished. I was already writing new stories. When I got home, I called Natalie and told her about running into Derek. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Indifferent. He is just a person I used to know. Someone from my past who does not affect my present. That is the best kind of healing." "Yeah, it is." We talked for an hour about my upcoming speaking engagements and her new relationship. About plans for Thanksgiving and Christmas. About life. When we hung up, I sat on my couch in my beautiful condo that I bought with my own money and felt overwhelming contentment. This was my life. Built from scratch after everything fell apart. And it was better than anything I had before. I was not just surviving. I was not just thriving. I was soaring. And the best part? I did it all by myself. For myself. Derek had tried to take everything from me. Instead, he gave me the push I needed to become the person I was always meant to be. Strong. Independent. Successful. Happy. Seeing him that night just confirmed what I already knew. I did not need him. I never did. I had everything I needed right here inside me all along. 3 years after Derek called me selfish for being upset about him stealing our savings, I stood in my new office overlooking the city. Vice President of Financial Wellness. 6-figure salary. A team of 15 people across 5 states. A book on the bestseller list. A second book in progress. Speaking engagements booked through next year. This was my life. The life I built from nothing. The life Derek told me I could not have. My mother's health was excellent. She volunteered at her church and took watercolor classes and told everyone about her daughter, the VP. She was living her best life. Natalie had gotten married 6 months ago. I was her maid of honor. I gave a speech about friendship and love and choosing people who choose you back. There was not a dry eye in the room. My blog had grown into a community. Women supporting women. Sharing stories. Offering advice. Building each other up. I had built something beautiful. That afternoon, I was preparing for a major presentation to the executive board. Expanding the financial wellness program to include free services for domestic violence survivors. Helping women who were leaving dangerous situations protect themselves financially. It was personal. It was important. It was going to change lives. Mr. Patterson stopped by my office. You ready? Yes. Nervous but ready. You're going to be great. You always are. The presentation went perfectly. The board approved the program unanimously. We were going to help thousands of women rebuild their lives after leaving abusive situations. I walked out of that boardroom feeling like I could fly. That evening, I met Natalie and a few other friends for dinner. We celebrated the approval of the program and my latest speaking contract. To Simone, Natalie said, raising her glass. The woman who turned pain into power. To all of us, I corrected. To women who refuse to stay down. To second chances and new beginnings and lives we build ourselves. We clinked glasses and laughed and talked for hours. When I got home that night, I found an envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was a check for $47,000 and a note. I know this does not fix anything, but I wanted to pay you back in full. With interest. I'm sorry for what I did. I hope you are living your best life. You deserve it. Derek. I looked at the check. $47,000. The exact amount the court had ordered him to pay 3 years ago. Plus interest. It did not change anything. But it felt like closure. Like the universe saying, yes, you were right all along. I deposited the check the next morning and donated half to a women's shelter. The other half went into my savings account. Not for an emergency. Not for someone else. Just for me. For whatever I wanted. Whenever I wanted it. That weekend, I bought myself the most beautiful emerald ring I had ever seen. Not an engagement ring. Not a promise from someone else. Just a promise to myself. A promise that I would always put myself first. That I would never again accept less than I deserved. That I would continue building this beautiful life no matter what. I wore the ring every day. It reminded me of how far I had come. How much I had survived. How strong I really was. My second book, Rebuilding After Betrayal, Your Journey to Financial Freedom, launched that spring. It went straight to #1 on the bestseller list. I did a book tour. 20 cities. Thousands of women. Each one with a story. Each one learning to take back their power. In every city, women came up to thank me. To hug me. To tell me I saved their lives. You did not save them, I always said. You saved yourselves. I just showed you it was possible. But the truth was, helping them save me too. It gave meaning to my pain. It turned my worst experience into my greatest purpose. At the end of the tour, I took a vacation. 2 weeks in Italy. Alone. Just me and my books and good food and beautiful views. I had learned to love my own company. To enjoy being alone without being lonely. To find joy in small moments and big adventures. I had learned that happiness was not something someone gave you. It was something you built for yourself every single day through your choices and your boundaries and your commitment to your own well-being. Derek had tried to make me small. Dependent. Grateful for crumbs. Instead, I became big. Independent. Hungry for everything life had to offer. On my last night in Italy, I sat on a balcony overlooking the ocean and wrote in my journal. 3 years ago, I thought my life was over. I thought losing Derek meant losing everything. But I was wrong. Losing Derek meant finding myself. It meant discovering that I was so much more than anyone's wife. I was Simone. Whole and complete and enough all by myself. I built a career I love. I wrote books that help people. I made a difference in the world. I have friends who support me. A mother who loves me. A life that is completely and totally mine. I am not bitter. I am not angry. I am grateful. Grateful for the pain that pushed me forward. Grateful for the lessons that made me stronger. Grateful for the chance to start over and do it right this time. Derek's betrayal was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But it led to the best thing that ever happened to me. Finding out who I really was underneath all the years of people-pleasing and making myself small. I am not small anymore. I am powerful. I am successful. I am happy. And that is the sweetest revenge of all. I closed the journal and looked at the stars. Somewhere back home, Derek was living his life. I hoped he had learned and grown. I hoped he was better for whoever came after me. But mostly, I did not think about him at all anymore. He was a chapter in my story. An important one. But not the ending. The ending was this. Me 3 years later, sitting on a balcony in Italy, living a life I absolutely loved. A life I built with my own 2 hands after everything fell apart. A life that was better than anything I had imagined before. A life that was mine. That was the happy ending. Not a prince. Not a rescue. Not someone to complete me. Just me, complete all by myself, living my best life. And it was sweet. So incredibly sweet.